Why, hi there, I'm Ron Juckett, and this is a time once again for Retro Sports Network. We have a rare replay of a replay because I screwed up on the rosters on the opening day lineups. And if you watched the hockey game between the Habs and the Philadelphia Flyers that I did earlier this week, there were too many players on both teams. And what was the other thing? Oh, and home teams, because they get the last change in the NHL, we were having a hard time doing the play-by-play because you couldn't see them all. So, even though most of you know I'm a Montreal Canadiens fan, we will play for this entire series the home team. I don't think there's any team I really hate enough that I wouldn't want to play at least once. And so, yes, it does mean I'm playing against my own team, but that's okay. So this game would be the opening night game from October 8th, 1987. So the starting lineup for the Montreal Canadiens, who I kind of hope win, even though I'm coaching against them, it'll be Bobby Smith at center with Mats Naslund and Stéphane Richer. Of course, Stéphane lost his 4-goal game. And the defensive starters, Larry Robinson and Chris Chelios, with Patrick Waugh as the goalie. For your Philadelphia Flyers, Davey Poulin at center, Rick Tocchet on the right wing, Brian Propp on the left, with Mark, son of Gordie Howe, at left defense, and he scored twice too in that game, with Doug Crossman, the other defender, and Ronnie Hextall in the net. Mike Keenan and Jean Perron in his last year with Montreal are the coaches. So Poulin and Smith out for the faceoff. Computer will run the lines. I don't worry about that. Poulin and Smith are ready. And so are we. Smith wins it for Montreal. Naslund to Smith. Well, that's new. This is also the first game with the first patch. Crossman there in the block. Crossman saved by Hextall. Rebound Richer. Socket in the way. Scores! Richer scores. He backed home the rebound. Assist from Smith and Naslund at 20 seconds. That's pretty quick. We might get the same result. How about that? So Richer banged home the Smith rebound past Hextall, and it's 1-0 Montreal. So Poulin's still out there. Well, there's no changes. No changes along the board after the first 20 seconds. And this face-off is won by Philadelphia. Propp to Crossman, over to Naslund. Montreal takes it the other way into the Flyer zone before Crossman skates back out with the first minute of the first period over. Vic Green out with the Habs. Svoboda is his defensive partner. Brian Skrudland, the center, with Ryan Walter and Claude Lemieux for Philadelphia. Peter Zezel, Murray Craven, Scott Mellenby, Shell Samuelson, and Marsh. Brad Marsh. Habs have it. Skrudland. With Lemieux in front. Lemieux tips. Wow. Hextall with a save and a hold. So face-off coming in front of Hextall. 18:25 first period. Skrudland and Zezel. And Skrudland wins the face-off. Skrudland to Green. From the blue line. Hextall makes that stop. And again, we'll have a face-off. Shots are 4-0 in favor of Montreal. Walter will take the face-off, not Skrudland. Philly wins it. And we have an icing call the other way. Well, isn't that special? So Zezel is out there. First line is out there for Montreal. Bobby Smith and Zezel for the face-off. Face-off is actually taken by Naslund, and he wins it in the Flyer zone. Naslund. He'll shoot. Hextall with a save. Over to Crossman. And back come the Flyers. Mellenby to Craven to Zezel in the zone. He overskates it. Back come the Habs. Sheldon with the puck. No more changes. Corson has it to Dahlin. Back to Corson to Lawler. Tocchet with the steal. And the Flyers skate it back out of their zone. Now Propp. In the Montreal zone. No one open. Will set up a pass. Corson with the steal. And Montreal goes back the other way. Corson, Carbonneau, and Dahlin are the fourth line for Montreal with Lawler and Ludwig. Carson, Paley, Eklund, and Brown for Philadelphia, with Shell, Samuelson, and Marsh. Huffman and Smith are the third defensive pair. For the Flyers, 16:25 first period. Walter to Svoboda. To Walter. Point blank range. Hextall with a stop. Samuelson has it. Philly gets it out, but only to center. Here's Lemieux. Hextall again gets a stick on it. Plays it to Marsh. 7-0 in favor of Montreal are the shots. 5 minutes gone in the first period. Poulin to Tocchet. Tocchet will shoot outside. He's not going to penetrate on Chelios. Dahlin and Prop are fighting in front of the net. Shot Wah with the save, and that's the first one on the Montreal net tonight. So we have a save and a face-off. Skrudland and Zezel. Now, new things with the face-offs in this version of Action PC hockey. Draw back, if Zezel draws it back, he's drawing it back for the defenseman to set up. If he draws it forward, he's trying to get to the forwards. I'm going to draw him back. Normal is normal and clear is clear. I'm going to draw it back and see what happens. Flyers win the draw to Craven. Back to Zezel. As Mellenby open in the slot. Mellenby scores! From Zezel and Craven. And in the goal celebration, Ryan Walter got leveled. Which isn't going to make the Habs very happy. Oh, I guess Gainey, McPhee, and Kordic are the fourth line. I'm assuming the Flyers had the right amount of people dressed. All right, center ice. So it's 1-1 to score. That was only the second shot from the Flyers. And that goal came at 5:17 of the first. Eklund and Gainey at center ice. Philadelphia wins it. They flip it down, and it's an icing call. So Poulin, Prop, and Tocchet come in with Howe and Crossman, and Gainey, the wise old veteran, will take the face-off. It's Philadelphia's. They dump it. Prop to Howe. Back to Prop to Howe. Tocchet. As Poulin inside. He misplayed it. Here comes Kordic the other way. Rush to Green. To McPhee, who shoots it wide left. Flyers have it 13:43. Opening period. Eklund to Samuelson. Bill Samuelson. Brown deflects it wide right. Habs have the puck. Here's Larry Robinson with it. Montreal clears it to center ice. Flyers have it. Sinisalo has it. They'll skate it into the Montreal zone. Sutter to Huffman. Huffman shoots. That's on the net, and Wah will hold it. And with 12:46 to go in the first period, we have ourselves a TV timeout. Got 7-3 in favor of Montreal. Zezel and Skrudland out for this face-off. Third line out it's the second line out for Philadelphia, and I believe the second line out for Montreal. I'm going to try to draw back. And the Habs win it. Here's Lemieux. Claude over to Chelios. Chelios can't control it. And here's Mark, son of Gordy. But Robinson steals it at center ice. Over to Lemieux. To Robinson. We got a penalty. And Howe gets called for the cross-check. So power play coming from Montreal. Smith, Claude Lemieux, and Stéphane Richer, who has the Montreal goal, are the forwards. Svoboda and Ludwig. Okay, that's an interesting combination. Are the defenders for Montreal. The penalty killers for the Flyers. Davey Poulin and Brian Prop. With Smith. That's Greg Smith. And Doug Crossman. And always play clear. Poulin wins the face-off and the Flyers clear. So Richer will set up the play with a minute 51 left in the power play. As soon as I hit the button. Lemieux. And there's another penalty, and Smith gets called for the slash. Well, that's not good. So it'll be 5-on-3 for Montreal for a minute 35. And it'll be Poulin out there with Samuelson and Marsh. So the second defensive pair. Carbonneau, who is Montreal's face-off wizard, with Matt Naslund and Sheldon. Chelios and Robinson, the top defensive pair for Montreal on the ice. Poulin wins the face-off, and Philadelphia clears. 1:26 in the two-man advantage. Chelios brings the puck up the other way to Naslund, to Dolan. 2-1 over the line to Chelios, to Naslund. Robinson from the blue line. That's a save and a rebound. Rebound goes to Marsh, and they get it out. Naslund brings it back in. He's going to do a wraparound, and it scores. You can't hold Montreal down on a 5-on-3. So that goal comes at 9:02 of the first period, and it's 2-1 Montreal. Robinson with Naslund on the wraparound, and it's still a Montreal power play. 1:31 on the slashing call to Smith. So Poulin and Proper out there with Samuelson and Marsh. Bobby Smith, Richer, and Claude Lemieux with Svoboda and Ludwig. For Montreal, Poulin wins the faceoff. Flyers clear. Smith will set up the power play with 1:21 left. Smith has it. Over to Richer. Samuelson blocks the shot. Flyers have it. Marsh tries to clear it. They don't. Well, they do. And so it'll be Bobby Smith with 41 seconds on the power play. Montreal's 2 shots and a goal on this power play. Smith has it to Richer. Richer from the slot. Lemieux tips it wide into the post. Poulin has it, clears it out. Montreal brings it back in. 14 seconds to go in the power play. Naslund. Chelios outside. Hextall with a save, and that's the power play. So shots now are in favor of Montreal 10-3, and on the game it's 2-1. So can I change it? I'm going to put Carson, Eklund, and Brown in, along with Huffman and Smith, because they're fresh, and no one else is completely fresh. Carbonneau and Eklund on the face-off. Eklund wins it to Carson. Offside is called. Third line in now for Philadelphia. Sutter with Smith and Sinisalo, Howe and Crossman on the defense. Gainey, Kordic, and McPhee from Montreal. Right in front of the blue line. Gainey wins it, takes it into the Philadelphia zone, but it comes across offside. But Kordic and Sutter exchange some greetings, something about the last game not being real and a bad dream. Well, they have 2 minutes to think about what they did. And so it'll be the face-off. It'll be right in front of the Montreal zone, blue line, with Craven and Carbonneau. And Carbonneau wins the face-off. They put it in the zone, and we have a fight. It's Corson and Smith. And so they drop the gloves, but it's much more of a grab-and-hold session, kind of like your average middle school dance. However, instead of getting sent to the principal's office, Corson gets 5 and Smith gets 5. And that penalty comes at 11:29 of the first. So 1:39 left in the roughing penalties to Kordic and Sutter. And now Smith, who's already has a call for a slash, and Corson get 5 minutes to reacquaint themselves. It'll be Zezel and Carbonneau on the face-off. Naslund and Dolan join Carbonneau on the forward. Craven and Mellenby for the Flyers. Lawler and Ludwig, the defenders for Montreal. Samuelson and Marsh for Philadelphia. I am unfortunate for Philly. It's in their zone. Zezel, however, wins the faceoff. Over to Craven. Back to Samuelson. Shoots it in at the blue line wide. And it's out of play. But the faceoff remains in the Montreal zone. Zezel and Smith will try a draw back. Zezel wins the faceoff to Crossman, to Craven, back to Howe. Howe will take a shot. One-timer, Waugh with a stop. And Montreal will skate it back out. Richer to Green. Svoboda from outside. Hextall with a stop. Field Levitt. And with 7:43 to go in the first period, we have a faceoff coming from the Philadelphia zone. 51 seconds left in the minors. 4:12 left in the fight. Majors. Eklund and Skrudland are facing off. And Skrudland wins the faceoff. Over to Chelios. Back to Skrudland. to Lemieux. Back to Skrudland. Whole bunch of people in front of the net. Marsh and Lemieux. The shot is scores! One-timer from Skrudland got past everybody. There was a bunch of people in front of the net, and Hextall didn't see it. So Chelios and Lemieux get the assists on the one-timer from Skrudland at 12:35 of the first period. So the Flyers are down 3-1. Not that I'm really bothered by that, but it is 3-1. Corson and Smith, 3:54 left in their majors. Kordic and Suter have 33 seconds left to, I guess it's to cool their heels. Carbonneau and Zezel on the face-off. Zezel wins it. He loses control. Montreal has it at center. They dump it in, and back come the Flyers. Mellenby up to center before Montreal takes it away. McPhee back to Richer. Deganey blocked by Samuelson. Samuelson has it, and Montreal sets it up again. The Miners are done. 2:39 left in the majors. Dumped to Lemieux, to Lawler, and he can't play it. Back come the Flyers. Sinisalo to Eklund. Eklund just got nailed. Got the puck back. No call. Sinisalo inside. Good angle. Why is the better man there? He saves it. Rebound, Montreal. 5:19 first period. Richer to Naslund. Back to Richer. He coughs up the puck. The Flyers will change in their own zone. Huffman to Eklund. Back to Crossman. Sinisalo in front. Wow, makes the save and holds on. And so the Fighters are finally back, and not quite yet. The Miners are now eligible to play again. So Smith, Sutter, and Sinisalo, or Suter and Sinisalo, with Howe and Crossman. 1:12 left in the majors. Suter and Carbonneau on the face-off. Montreal wins it. Naslund to Dahlin, but Sinisalo takes it away in the zone. 50 seconds left in the majors. Philadelphia doesn't quite ice it. Here comes back Montreal. Montreal does ice it. So Poulin and Bobby Smith will take this face-off. 15 seconds left in the penalties. Propp will take the face-off from Poulin. Philadelphia has it. Poulin passes it out to Samuelson. One-timer. Waugh gets a hold of that one. Montreal will have it, and they'll skate it back the other way. Penalties are over. Richer to Dahlin. To Green at the blue line. Hextall saw that. And so we're finally at full strength for everybody with 3:15 to go in the opening period. 3-1 Montreal. McPhee, Gainey, and Kordic, the forwards for the Habs. Zezel, Craven, and Mellenby for Philadelphia. Gainey wins the face-off. Chelios. But Zezel knocks it off. And back on the Flyers. They trail by 3-1. Craven puts one on the net wide. In fact, he shot it over the glass, so there actually was no shot. 13-7, the shots in favor of Montreal. And they lead 3-1. Not been a strong start again for Ron Hextall. So Poulin and Skrudland. And you can see who's on the ice. Face-off is Walter will take instead. Poulin wins it to Huffman. Finds Poulin in the slot. Lawler and Propp in front. Shot. Lawler blocks it. Montreal has it. Lawler. Now back to Philadelphia. Smith. Finds Propp outside. No, he overskates it. Wanted Propp outside. Overskates it. 1:29 to go. Chelios to McPhee. Kordic to Chelios. Back to McPhee, but Montreal can't get a shot off. 1:11 left. Philadelphia clears it for an icing. So Carbonneau and Poulin now. 53 seconds and change. And Montreal seems to be quite intimidated. You can see by that .4 up there. So opportunity looming large for another fight in this first period. It'll be Poulin versus Carbonneau. And Carbonell wins the faceoff. Swoboda to Corson. Green from the blue line. His shot goes wide left. Philadelphia has it. Half a minute to go in the opening period. Prop to Marsh. Back to Prop. Poulin with the wrister. That misses the net. Too many of those have missed the net. Montreal has it. Carbonell. Swoboda at center ice, and that's the end of the period. We played one at the Spectrum. It is Montreal 3, Philadelphia 1. Well, let's go through the scoring. This period was all Montreal. Richer, just like in the game that never happened, scored on a rebound in the first 20 seconds. That was the first goal of the year. Montreal got a 1-0 lead. Then the Flyers tie it with a Scott Mellanby goal at 5:17, even-handed, from Zezel and Craven. But then it was all Montreal. Naslund on the power play from Robinson, and then Skrudland got a beautiful pass from Chelios, so one-timed it from the slot to make it 3-1. We had a couple roughs. We had a couple fights. Kordic and Suter went at it at 11:08, and then 20 seconds later, Corson and Smith got 5 for fighting. So Montreal had 13 shots to 7. Philadelphia, however, had more faceoffs, 14-10. And you can see the rest of the chances. Montreal 1 for 2 on the power play. Philadelphia has yet to have one. So Smith and Poulin are ready to start the second period. Montreal's intimidation is back down to .3. And Smith wins the faceoff. Montreal, Naslund to Richer. Back to Smith. Back to Richer. Richer tries to get one past Poulin. He does, but Hextall with the save. Flyers have the puck. Ow. Poulin. Crossman. One-timer. Richer with a block. Montreal has it. They clear it to center. Sinisalo skates it in the zone for Philadelphia. Smith to Sinisalo to Samuelson. Gives it to Sutter on a one-timer. Smith will tip it wide. Montreal has it. Minute and a half gone by. Corson to Dolan. Back to Corson with a drive. Hextall gives up a rebound. And Carbonell has it behind the net. Can't pass it to anybody. And here comes Samuelson the other way. Derek Smith slaps one wide and slaps one on the net and has it bounce off the stick. Montreal has it. Couple minutes gone in the second period. Here's Rick Green. Montreal deep in their own zone. Walter to Chelios to Philadelphia has the puck, and Derek Smith gets called for the hook. Not what Philadelphia needed there. Montreal has their third power play of the game. It'll be Smith, Richer, and Lemieux with Chelios and Robinson. For the Flyers, Zezel and Eklund with Smith and Huffman. Smith has 7 penalty minutes. He's been in the box longer than he's been on the ice. Zezel and Smith on the face-off, and Smith wins it. Habs power play. Larry Robinson has it, but Zezel hits him, and the Flyers will try to clear. They do. Goes all the way down. Claude Lemieux intercepts the puck with 1:34 in the power play. Both teams change it up. Bobby Smith to Richer. Back to Smith. To Ludwig at the point. Hextall gets a piece of it. Desperation save. Passes it to Smith. So Huffman tries to clear, and they do. All the way back to the other end. So minute 9 this time. Brian Skrudland will set up this power play chance. Habs only have one shot in the first 50 seconds. Chelios to Robinson. Long shot from McPhee. Hextall gets a piece of it, and he directs it in the corner. McPhee and Howe fight for it. Mark will try to clear it. He does. Chelios, 41 seconds to go in the power play. Flyers change. Skrudland to Robinson to Kordic. Chelios with a slapper that's blocked by Davey Poulin. Kordic to Skrudland. Back to Robinson. He can't do anything with it. Ryan Propp will clear, and the power play is over. Still 3-1 Montreal, 15:29 second period. Svoboda gets it out to center, but the Flyers have it. Crossman skates it in. Howe to Zezel. Screened by Carbonneau. Wow, the covers it up, and we got a face-off. 14:54 second period. Still 3-1 Montreal. Shots in favor of the Habs. 17-9. So Suter and Skrudland. Suter will try to draw this back to his defender. He does win it. He has the puck. Tries to find Smith. Smith with a slapper. Wah, caught it. And we got a face-off. First line in for the Flyers. Checking line in for the Habs. Poulin wants to draw it back, but Carbonneau wins the face-off, and they'll dump and chase. Dahlin. Screened by Howe. Blocks the shot. Flyers have it. Here comes Propp. Both teams change. Marsh. Naslund has it over to Bobby Smith. Smith with the reset to Richer. And then Zezel takes it as the Flyers change. 13:38 to go, second period. Propp to Tocchet. Richer in front of him. Misses everything, goes wide left. Montreal the other way. Goodland to Walter to Lemieux to Green. And Sinisalo is called for the trip. So again, lots of dumb penalties for the Flyers, and you're just asking for trouble, giving Montreal these power play opportunities. 13:02 to go, so the penalty came at 16:58. I'm sorry, 6:58. Habs have outshot the Flyers 17-10. Suter and Walter on the face-off, and Suter wins it. Craven is hit by Chelios. Philadelphia wanted a penalty called. Robinson. He misplays it, and Philadelphia can't clear it. Craven, now they do, all the way back. Walter with a minute 32 on the Sinisalo penalty, comes up with it. Walter wraps it around. Corson to Gainey, back to Robinson. Robinson with the wrister from the blue line, misses wide. Chelios back to Robinson to Walter. Set anything up. Smith will knock him down. Here come the Flyers. They'll clear. A minute 2 to go in the power play. Now 53 seconds. No shots from Montreal in the first half of the power play. Here's Ludwig to Richer. In the zone. Richer shoots it high. Hextall with a save. Crossman clears it, but only to Svoboda. 28 seconds to go. He's hit by Poulin, and Propp will try to clear. Yes, they do. 9 seconds to go in the power play. Dahlin for Montreal. Power play's over. Dahlin hit by Smith, and here come the Flyers. So Smith, Sinisalo, and Carson for the Flyers. Naslund, Carbonneau, and Shell Dahlin for Montreal. Chelios and Robinson, the Habs defenders, Smith and Huffman for Philadelphia. Huffman to Lindsey Carson. Not Jimmy, Lindsey Carson. Puts up a weak shot. Chelios blocks it. Montreal has it. Montreal's blocked a bunch of shots. Both teams change. Svoboda in the zone. Has it. Mark Howe had it. And Sinisalo tries to start it out the other way. Craven to Zezel. Back to Craven. That angle. Wow, with a hold. And with 9:34 in the second period, we have a TV timeout. It's Montreal 3, Philadelphia 1. And tonight's Retro Sports broadcast, Retro Sports Network paid a promotional fee to Polar Seltzer made from the best Snapple. 100% natural, calorie-free seltzer, refreshingly natural. Black cherry, the preferred flavor. Zezel and Skrudland on this face-off with Craven and Mellenby with Zezel, Lemieux and Walter with Skrudland. And Zeza will play to draw it back. Montreal, however, wins the face-off. They get it out to center ice. Back come the Flyers. Here's Craven. Skates it into Mellenby. To Howe. Skrulin with a hit. Hard-hitting game. Walter. Back to Robinson. To Skrulin. To Chelios in the one-timer. Lemieux got a stick on it. Goes wide. Here goes back Philadelphia. Mellenby. To Tocchet. Back to Poulin. Saucer pass. To Tocchet, but Montreal hit him, and they sent it back in, and so Montreal is good at wasting some time right now. The Flyers have been held to 11 shots total. Here comes Samuelson. To Marsh. To Prop. Tocchet on the slapper wall with his own. And we have ourselves a face-off. It's Bobby Smith and Suter. So it's first line for Montreal and third line for Philadelphia. And the face-off is won by Suter to Howe to Crossman. Back to Suter. As Howe on the point. He shoots. Sinisalo directs it wide. Again, no shot. Here's Smith the other way. Crossman can't get it. Richer deflects and it doesn't hit the net. So Montreal, after losing it back on their end, bring it back out. 6:46 second period left. Smith with a slapper can't get it past Suter. Flyers with Huffman hope to set it back up. Smith to Poulin over the line, 3-on-3. Poulin with Tocchet in front. That misses wide. Back again comes Montreal. Lawler has it for them. 6:09 to go in the second period. Lemieux dumps it in. Walter Lawler, and then we have some more Armor Day greetings between Ludwig and Tocchet. So again, just some warnings. It's a 2-minute minor on each side, and will remain 5-on-5. Corson, Carbonneau, and Dolan for the Habs. Zezel, Mellenby, and Craven for the Flyers. Svoboda and Green for Montreal on defense. Samuelson and Marsh for Philadelphia. So face-off comes in the Flyer zone. Carbonneau and Zezel. Zezel wins it to Mellenby. In the zone. He'll fire. Walk out a piece of it. And it's passed out to Green. Montreal sends it all the way down. Back comes Samuelson to Craven. Mellenby. Craven over the line. Zezel. That misses wide. So many missed shots wide. Back comes Montreal. Under 5 minutes to go in the second. Walter to Skrudlin. Sinisalo knocks him down, and the Flyers have it. 48 seconds left in the minors. Smith to Sinisalo. Howe. Crossman. With Suter in front. Again, misses wide. Here come the Habs have the puck. Here's Robinson. Skrudlin and Huffman fight for it. Skrudlin has it but can't control it. Murray Craven goes the other way to Prop. Mellenby to Prop. Here's Poulin. That is on the net, but Wall stops it and dishes it off to Smith behind the net. Smith breaks it out. And a shoot. Hextall makes the stop. Philadelphia has it. This time it's Marsh. 3:23 to go in the second. Marsh flips it out, but only to center, and Walter intercepts it for Montreal. Both teams change. Hextall will leave it for Crossman. 2:46 to go. Crossman passes it to Howe. They get it out of the zone. Brown comes over, but he's offside. So with 2:27, it's Montreal 3, Philadelphia 1. That was a long stretch without a face-off, so Ludwig and comes back from the minors, from the roughing. So Eklund and Gainey, both fourth lines out there, face off in front of the blue line in the Montreal zone. Montreal wins the draw, and they fight for it at center, and here comes Brown. Brown skates it in the zone. Over to Eklund. Back to Mark Howe. Finds Brown in the slot. Brown shoots and scores. That's a big one. Give Howe credit. He had Eklund wide open in the slot. A rare defensive lapse for Montreal, and it's now 3-2. So Brown from Howe and Eklund at 18-19 of the second makes it a 3-2 game. So Skrudland and Zezel will be on the face-off. And you can see that Lemieux and Walter flank Skrudland. Craven and Mellenby flank Zezel. Face-off is won by Philadelphia. Craven, see if they can get another goal. Zezel with a shot. Svoboda in the way. He'll block it. Montreal has it. Minute 23 left. Walter to Lemieux. Back to Walter. Passes to Svoboda at the point. Hextall with a stop. Save and a hold. A minute 5 left. Shots are 20-15 in favor of Montreal. Poulin and Carbonneau on this face-off. And it will be Poulin in their own zone. They clear it out. No icing called. Montreal has it. Carbonneau. And again, so Tocchet is called for a hook. So many mistakes by the Flyers in this game. 33 seconds to go in the period. But so many self-inflicted wounds. You just can't do that against a team that is as good as Montreal. Remember, Montreal had the second best record in the National Hockey League in 87-88. Only Calgary had a better regular season record. Smith and Poulin. And Smith wins the faceoff to Chelios. Smith is hit by Prop. The Flyers hope to clear it. 22 seconds to go. They do clear it all the way down. 12 seconds to go in the period. Obviously, will spill over into the third. Robinson will hold it, and that's the end of 2. So the shot's 8-7 in favor of the Flyers, and Montreal goes 0 for 3 on the power play. After 2, it's 3-2. So the only goal in the period belonged to Philadelphia, and that came late. Brown, set up beautifully by Howe in the slot, and Eklund, makes it a 1-goal game. Penalties, well, there was a bunch of them. No fighting, but we had a roughing call between Ludwig and Tocchet. And Tocchet's late hooking call in the second period will mean that Montreal starts the third on the power play. We said 8-7 the shots in favor of Philadelphia in the period. Still Montreal in the game, 20-15. Philadelphia's dished out 11 hits to Montreal's 5. 16 shots have missed the net. Philadelphia's missed 10, Montreal 6. That's not great. Montreal, however, is 1 for 5 on the power play. For the Habs, Chelios and Robinson with 19 minutes apiece, they lead. Time spent on the ice. Naslund has the most hits with 2. Richer has the most shots with 3. And a whole variety of Habs have blocked shots. Most successful on the face-off, Skrudland, he's won 4 of 7. For the Flyers, it's Crossman leading the ice patrol with 17:59. All sorts of penalties, but you would figure that. This is a Philadelphia Flyer game. Mellenby has the most shots with 3. Zezel has delivered the most hits with 3. And Samuelson has blocked 2 shots. Poulin, the best face-off person, he's won 7 in the last 5. If you're wondering about the goalies, they've both been busy, but not so much. So Montreal starts this period with a minute 27 power play. Poulin and Prop for the Flyers with Howe and Crossman. Smith flanked by Lemieux and Richer. Robinson and Chelios. And the faceoff is won by Smith. They bring it into their own zone. Richer recovers. Smith loses the puck. A minute 6 to go in the power play. Prop will try to clear. He does. Montreal will set it back up. Here's Robinson. 57 seconds left. Smith to Robinson. He can't get the shot. Craven with a hit. Back come the Flyers. They try to clear. They do clear. 18 seconds left. Robinson again to Riche. To Smith. Power plays over. Smith is hit by Tocchet. Back come the Flyers. 18:20 to go in regulation. Sinisalo and Green fight for it. Now to Suter. To Sinisalo. Samuelson misses from wide from the blue line. Goes to center, and back come the Flyers. Suter. And finally, Montreal is going to get called for a penalty. Svoboda gets called for the trip. Not saying that Montreal deserved to have the penalty, but they've been so. Philadelphia is lucky. Montreal's had 6 power plays and didn't score in any of in the ones in the second and third. Third period's early, only 2:16 into it. So Carbonneau with Gainey are the forwards. Ludwig and Green are the defenders. Zezel, Craven, and Tocchet start this power play for Philadelphia with Howe and Huffman. Zezel wins the faceoff. Tocchet has Zezel in the slot. He shoots, scores, we're tied. Zezel from Tocchet and Craven. All set up on Tocchet there. He waited, and Montreal just did not have a good setup. So even though Zezel's angle wasn't very good, he was by the faceoff dot. He knew where to shot it. He put it over Waugh's shoulder, and we're tied at 3. Zezel was Skrudland for this faceoff. Zezel wins it to Craven. And another penalty called on Montreal. So what was relative constraint for the Habs the first 2 periods has all gone for naught as Claude Lemieux does a little hold. So again, Zezel with Craven and Tocchet. Howe and Huffman. For Montreal, Gainey and Carbonneau, their 2 best defensive forwards, with Svoboda and Lawler in the 3-3 tie. Face-off is won by Carbonneau. Montreal clears. Howe got nailed. The crowd oohs and ahs, but there's no whistle. Huffman will bring it up to Zezel. Back to Huffman. To Howe on a one-timer. Tocchet deflects it wide. Montreal will clear it. 1:14 left in the penalty to Lemieux. Here's Huffman. Montreal changes. Tocchet to Zezel. To Howe. Tocchet tries to tip it. No, wide. Montreal clears it. But they finally do. 46 seconds to go on the power play. 2 shots for the Flyers. Samuelson. Everyone changes. Prop to Millenby. Back to Prop. And Bobby Smith gets called for the trip. So the Flyers, for the next 31 seconds, are going to be in a 5-on-3. Oh, how the tides have changed. So Carbonneau and Poulin will be for the faceoff. Only Chelios and Robinson with Carbonneau. Prop and Millenby are with Poulin. Samuelson and Crossman on the D. 3-3 tie, 15:43 third period. And Philadelphia wins the puck. Prop has Poulin open in the middle, but Chelios gets a stick on it. Poulin, first penalty's over. Dishes to Prop outside, but Chelios knocks it away. Robinson tries to do something short-handed, and it's at center ice. Minute 8 left on the penalty to Bobby Smith. Here's Eklund. Skates it in the zone to Huffman. Finds Sinisalo. His shot misses wide to the right. Montreal will clear. Here's Huffman. 40 seconds in the power play. 14:23 in the period. Brown to Eklund. To Sinisalo. Sends it out to Howe. 19 seconds on the power play. Howe. Blocked by Green. To Eklund. Tries to find Sinisalo outside. He does. 14 on the power play. Again, Green with the block. Eklund has it. Again, Sinisalo outside. Ludwig blocks it. Eklund. Nobody in front of him this time, but he misses the net wide. Montreal clears, and Montreal kills off that 5-on-3. Shots are 20-16. Poulin will skate it in as soon as I hit the button. Tocchet, back to Prop, to Poulin. Tocchet will penetrate past Lawler. You'll see that he had 300 penalty minutes for Philadelphia. Tocchet comes in, and Wahoo makes the diving save. And with 13:18 to play in the third period, we'll take a TV timeout. Yep, that tastes good. Carbonneau and Poulin for this face-off in the Montreal zone. Poulin has Prop and Tocchet with him. Carbonneau has Dahlin and Corson. Poulin will try to draw it back, but Carbonneau wins the face-off. He gets it to Corson, to Robinson. Dahlin from outside. That misses everything. Wide right. Back come the Flyers. Prop passes it to open ice to Tocchet. Over to Poulin. Poulin will shoot outside. Carbonneau is that good of a defender. You just don't want to penetrate on him. A Prop is sneaked out in front. He deflects it wide. Montreal has it. Corson to Chelios. Icing is waved off. Prop. Everyone changes. Derek Smith. The Sinisalo. Back to Sutter. Ronnie has a one-timer. And Wah equal to the challenge. A save and a face-off. 11:47 to go. Gainey and Zezel. Bob has played 6 minutes tonight for Montreal. And Zezel will draw it back. McPhee will take it for Gainey. Philadelphia has it. Zezel has Craven open. Craven shoots. Wass saves. Another face-off. 20-19 now the shots. Philadelphia has chipped away at Montreal's shot advantage. Zezel and Skrudland this time on the face-off. And it will be Skrudland, and Montreal clears it from the zone. Lemieux to Robinson the other way. Robinson fires it from the blue line. No, wide left. Flyers have it. Al. Into the zone. Craven to Zezel. Back to Craven. To Howe. Zezel tips it wide. Nothing doing. Montreal sets it up the other way. Walter to Lemieux. Smith will block. Yes. Philadelphia. Huffman, 10:27 to go in the third. To Prop. Back to Huffman. Has Poulin open in the slot. Green tries to get there. He can't, but Waugh does. And it's a rebound controlled by Walter. They get it to center, but it's a Flyers puck. Samuelson. To Suter. To Sinisalo. Montreal can't keep it. Lawler to Smith. To Naslin. To Smith to Richer. Back at the point. Delayed penalty, but Derek Smith is called for a hold on Richer. So a late power play, 9:25, third period. Montreal and Philadelphia are knotted at 3 and at 20 shots apiece. So Montreal wants to face off. It's Carbonneau out there with Naslin and Dahlin. Sutter and Craven for the Flyers. Carbonneau wins it. Over to Dahlin. With Carbonneau in front. Dahlin shoots wide. Carbonneau is hit by Howe. Craven wants to clear. He does. Naslin with 1:34 on the power play starts it back up. Dahlin to center, but he's offside. And so this faceoff will be just in front of the Flyers' zone. 1:15 in the power play. Bobby Smith and Zezel will take the faceoff. Zezel wins it. For the Huffman. Richer, see, they should have cleared Smith. Wrap around. Hextall with a save. Rebound. Richer to Lemieux to Smith. And Smith knocks off Smith. Flyers get away with it when they are Eklund. Knocked off the puck by Ludwig. Back to Richer. In close. Hextall with a save. Ludwig with the rebound. Zezel knocks it off. Let's see if the Flyers can clear this. 27 seconds left. They do, all the way to the other end. So one last rush for Montreal. 18 seconds in the power play. 7:43 in the period. Robinson to Kordic. McPhee. Power play's over. McPhee on a wraparound. McPhee save and a hold by Hextall. He closed the legs and made the stop. So 3 shots for Montreal in that sequence. They have 23 shots to 20. Suter and Gainey. Smith and Sinisalo for the Flyers. McPhee and Kordic for the Habs. And Montreal wins it. Gainey wins it to Lawler. Back to Kordic. Gainey from outside. Marsh with the block. Flyers have it. Plenty of time. 6:52 either way. Montreal has it back at center. Here's Green. Kordic to McPhee to Gainey. Svoboda, long shot, but Hextall saw it. 6:14 to go. Zezel and Carbonneau will face this one off in the Flyer zone. Carbonneau wins it. Over to Dahlin. To Corson. Look at the slot. Hextall with a save. Flyers have it. 5:44 to go. Prop to Crossman. And Corson and Prop give each other some snowman with a glove. And it'll be 2-minute minors for both. 5:28 to go. Puck in the Montreal zone. Suter and Carbonneau to face it off. Carbonneau wins it. He'll dump it in. Dahlin to Lawler at the blue line. One-timer blocked by Marsh. Ludwig to Carbonneau. Naslund has it now. He's still waiting. Has room to shoot. Hextall saves and holds. And we get the last TV timeout. 4:48 to go in regulation. It's Montreal 3, Philadelphia 3. Zezel and McPhee on the face-off. McPhee to Chelios. Knocked off the puck. Here come the Flyers to Craven. Craven tries for the corner, and he misses everything wide right. Back comes Montreal. Gainey to McPhee. Robinson with a drive that Hextall saves. He'll cover it. 3:48 to go. 20 seconds left in the penalties to Shane Corson and Brian Prop. Poulin and Skrudlin in the Flyer zone. Montreal wins it. Svoboda. But Craven with a check, and back come the Flyers. Smith to Poulin. To Marsh with Poulin in front. Poulin tries to tip. Wide again. Montreal has it. Just about 3 minutes to go. Walter to Lemieux with a long slapper. Hextall got a piece of it. Philadelphia has it. It's Marsh. To Derek Smith, and he's offside. So with 2:53 to go, the Roughers are back on the ice. So Poulin with Prop and Tocchet, and Smith with Naslund and Richer. Just outside the Montreal zone. Poulin and Smith for the faceoff. It'll be won by Bobby Smith. And Montreal clears it. Back come the Flyers. Howe to Poulin. Crossman with a long shot. Waugh gets that one rather easily. Montreal hopes to skate it back the other way. 2:33 to go in the third period. Hextall plays it for Samuelson. Crossman to Tocchet. Behind the Montreal net. Howe to Poulin. Poulin with the drive, and Waugh with his glove save. 2:03 to go, and the Habs call time. So first line's in for everybody. Face off in front of Waugh. Poulin and Bobby Smith, and Poulin wins it. To Prop, to Tocchet. Finds Howe outside. Chelios tries to get in the way. He does. He blocks the shot. Here come the Habs. They lift it up, but they can't get anything going. So Dave Poulin with a $1.27 call signals. Over to Howe. Marsh. They skate it in to Prop. Tockett. Pulling inside. He shoots. No tic-tac-toe that time. Watt got a piece of it. Oh, baby, what a save. Now here's Green the other way. Under a minute to go. Naslund to Robinson. Robinson shoots. Hextall holds on with 33 seconds left. Bobby Smith. That's Naslund, Stefan Riche in the Philadelphia zone. Zezel, Mellenby, and Craven the other way. And the Flyers win the faceoff. Zezel, one last chance here for the Flyers. Mellenby to Zezel. Has Howe open outside on a slapper. 8 seconds left. Misses wide. Montreal has it. The possibility of overtime looming really large. As he'll hold the puck. And as the play-by-play says, some free hockey. So after 60 minutes, it's Montreal 3, the Flyers 3. We play 5-on-5 for 5 minutes. That's the overtime rules. 5 for 5 for 5 minutes, and it's sudden death. So any goal will win the game. The only goal in the third period came on a Zezel scramble from Tockett and Craven. It made it 3-3. There were penalties, but no fights, including some dumb penalties by Montreal. So the totals, we've had 40 penalty minutes in the game. Montreal leads in shots 29-23. Faceoffs are even at 27. Philadelphia has been a bit more physical, 18 hits to 10, but they've missed 20 shots on net. 20 shots. Flyers are 1 for 3 on the power play. Montreal 1 for 6. So Craven, Zezel, and Mellenby, McPhee, Gainey, and Kordic. This screams tie, if you ask me. Zezel over the line to Howe. Back to Zezel. Craven with Chelios in the way. It's a shot on one. It's out of play. So Craven, Zezel, and Mellenby 16 seconds into the extra period with Howe and Crossman. Zezel. Montreal has it. They flip it out, and it's an icing call. Once again, it's Zezel. 4:26 to go. Same people. Zezel wins the faceoff. Over to Craven to Howe. Back to Zezel. As Crossman open outside. Crossman tees it up. Wow with the save and a rebound. Craven tries to put the rebound home, but again he misses wide. Smith clears it out, and the Flyers will recover at center ice. 3:57 to go. Howe to Craven in the zone to Zezel. Zezel shoots wide. Montreal hopes to do something with it. First line in for Philly. Riche. Long shot, misses wide left. Philadelphia. 3:20 to go. Del Samuelson. Clears it, and it's an icing call. It's not what you wanted, so Skrudland, Lemieux, and Walter for Montreal. Poulin, Prop, and Tockett for Philadelphia. Samuelson and Marsh, Svoboda, and Green the defenders. And it's Skrudland and Philly, and Poulin wins it to Tockett. Back to Poulin to Prop. Samuelson, long shot, Waugh saves it. 2:44 to go, and that's big because it means the faceoff is in the Montreal zone. Skrudland and Poulin with the faceoff. Poulin tries to draw it back. He does. To Tockett. Has Howe open outside. Now it shoots. Waugh saves, and we'll do this again. Philadelphia has held on to their timeout. 2:15 to go. It'll be Zezel and Skrudland on this faceoff, and Zezel wins it. Zezel behind the net, sets it up. Craven. Risky pass to Mellenby. Walter takes it from him. Montreal, 95 seconds to go. Riche. Riche in the zone to Naslund, to Smith, to Chelios. Chelios can't play it. 1:10 to go. Pocket to Crossman. They'll skate it in. 1 minute left in the ball game. Prop will penetrate on bad Stefan Riche. He gets by him point blank. Wow, with a stop. Rebound, Montreal, 41 seconds left. Here come the Habs. Skrudland behind the net, 34 seconds. Skrudland has it. Howe with a hit. Flyers have it. 13 seconds. Both teams change. Sinisalo, 6 seconds. Nope. Go find your sister and give her a kiss. We finish this one with a 3-3 tie. Montreal did not have a shot the entire overtime. The Flyers had 5. And so there were no goals or penalties in the extra period. Philadelphia had 5 shots. Montreal had none. So the shots on goal, 29-28 in favor of Montreal. Faceoffs, 32-28 in favor of the Flyers. They had 19 hits to Montreal's 10. Philadelphia had 22 shots, missed the net. And that's why we tied. Number 1 star on opening night is Mats Naslund. 1 goal and 2 points. He also had 2 hits. Peter Zezel had a heck of a night. He had a goal and an assist for the Flyers. And Brown had a goal. Zezel won 15 faceoffs. And you can see the other stars of the game there. Goalies were up to task. They both played 65 minutes. Waugh with 25 saves, Hextall with 26. Not much to separate them. For the Habs, Chelios and Robinson played over a half hour apiece. Richer had 4 shots. He led Montreal. A bunch of players had 3. Chelios, Naslund, and Ludwig had 2 hits apiece. Lots of turnovers, not a lot of takeaways. Chelios and Green blocked 2 shots. And if you're looking for a faceoff winner, Guy Carbonneau doing what he did best, 10 of 18. For the Flyers, Howe played 31 minutes and 8 seconds. He's your Iron Man of the day. Lots of penalty minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players had 3 shots for Philadelphia. They spread it around. Howe and Zezel dished out 4 hits apiece. And Samuelson and Marsh with 2 blocks. Zezel the best on the faceoff. He won 15 and lost 11. So there you go. There you go. It's only Peter Brady. That's the makeup game, so that's the one that officially counts in the standings. It goes in as a 3-3 tie. So the next game in this series will be a live one Friday night, the 14th at 7:30 between the Calgary Flames and Edmonton Eskimos. Yeah, it's good old CFL action. No, it's the Edmonton Oilers with Wayne Gretzky, Yari Curry, and Paul Coffey. And until then, I'm Ron Juckett. We'll talk to you the next time.